Empires on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad-tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system, or call 1-888-253-3139.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond Gusset Jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond Gusset Jeans got it, others don't.
Stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
The Alex Jones Show. Because there is a war on for your mind.
Waging war on corruption, crashing the lies and disinformation. I'll be back live, Lord willing. Don't take any of this for granted. This Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time with the Sunday worldwide transmission. So the headline, lawyers want state to investigate prosecutors, and the audio of it has been released. And why this story is so important is this is local police involved threatening someone who's been charged, saying you better get rid of your lawyer because you're not supposed to be talking to somebody once there's a criminal case going on and you're the officer involved, get involved in the trial. I mean, this is just incredible. It's official intimidation. They're saying because they're constitutionalist, that's the guy that ran for president, that's the guy politically involved, that's the guy that thousands of people are listening to locally. You don't work with him. And you know this is going on everywhere else. These are probably the 100th people they've done this to. And they just happen to not lie down to it and record it. So you got a defense attorney, totally protected under the Constitution, absolutely sacred, and they're going to people saying, you better let them go or you're in deep trouble, so we can throw you in prison. You're not allowed a defense. And these cops are doing this with a straight face with the prosecutor. That's called tyrants. That reminds me of the cases up in Williamson County where they'll have a known person who's innocent. There's been movies made about it. And have the bloody rag, and they even know who the killer is. And just for some reason, they just want to put an innocent man with no criminal record in jail because his wife's been killed. And they knew all along. It's very sick. So imagine, people are like, yeah, if you get involved in the Tea Party or anything, you won't get business. You won't, because if we all start giving each other business, if you start giving publications business or Infowars.com business or our shopping cart business or spread the word about other websites that tell the truth, we'll build our own community. And our community will be popular. And people want to hang out with folks that are into freedom. And pretty soon, we'll take the country back. Just like 1776, but economically and culturally. So there's a culture war against pro-lifers, veterans. Look at how the veterans are being demonized. Think about a coalition. The veterans, the returning veterans, the libertarians, the conservatives, the Christians that want real Christianity, not state-run propaganda. Think if we come together and start working together and praying together and shopping together and teaching each other skills and going out and camping together and just creating community again, that's what'll kill the New World Order, is normal human community. I'm going to shut up now, but they try to build all community around their state-run systems. They don't want us to have our own community. Hey, what are you doing having a barbecue in your backyard with 20 friends over? We're going to do something about that. What are your kids doing playing in the front yard? We're going to call the police on you. They've got all these statists, all these corporate Borg people out there. It's time for us to call them out and get in their face and put heat on them. Now, I'm going to shut up and give Tim Baldwin the floor, constitutional lawyer, to recap and start over. Then we're going to go to his dad, Chuck Baldwin. How dare him run for president and get a record number of votes for a third party, of the Constitutional Party. How dare Aaron Russo found the Constitution Party. He was demonized in the report as well. I've been demonizing others. How dare Ron Paul? They said, cops, you see a Ron Paul sticker, you pull them over. And that's meant to have cops be an agent of intimidation in America against somebody as American as apple pie Ron Paul. No criminal record, highest ethical standards. His bill now passed the House, even though he's out of the House, to audit the Fed. Changed the world for libertarian thought, an icon of goodness. No one would dare claim he's bad in any way. A medical doctor, Vietnam veteran, demonized. They demonize good men, folks, because they want to cause a civil war in this country between the police and the military and the constitutionalist movement. And that's why they want to demonize Chuck Baldwin. And it's, again, you're like, oh, it's just some local thing and some cops. No, this is systematic. Now, Tim, I'm going to shut up. You guys have got the floor. You break it down and then throw it to your dad whenever you want.
Okay. So, again, I represent a person by the name of Corey Franklin. And keep in mind, this case was assigned to me from the Public Defender's Office. I have a contract with the state of Montana to represent clients who the Public Defender's Office either cannot for conflict reasons or for overflow work. So this is a contract case from the Public Defender's Office. My client had another attorney prior to my representation of him. I took his cases over. There were two cases. Whenever I received this case, Ken Park was, I learned that Ken Park was the prosecutor in this case. And so as any attorney would do, I'm looking at the cases and I find out that there's hardly any discovery in the files. There was many items missing in the file, such as my client's own statements that were recorded, witness statements, photographs of the crime scene, all kinds of essential discovery was missing. So I sent a message to Mr. Park, and I said, I need this discovery. I also had learned from the prior attorney and my client that there was discussion about Mr. Park dismissing one of the cases because it was factually very weak. In fact, Mr. Park admitted this under oath on September 5th, that he didn't believe he could prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt to the jury, yet he kept prosecuting this case. And
then how dare a lawyer try to actually do his job? Think of it. If a public defender actually did their job, they couldn't be throwing all these innocent people in jail. Please continue.
So I sent him this email asking for discovery, asking him if he was going to dismiss the one case. Well, I get a response from him where he tells me that if I file any motion on behalf of my client, that he would seek the maximum penalty against my client, and that he would also encourage the federal government to charge my client with a charge there was no factual basis for. After I received that email from Mr. Park, it became very apparent to me that Mr. Park had a personal grudge, a personal bias against me, because his response was so arbitrary and really unreasonable, given the fact that discovery had not even really been
Sure,
given
I understand, but before we get into all the minutia, the key here is then they send the cops out to the client to say it's because you're constitutionalist. That's the really big enchilada for me. Get into that.
Okay, I'm getting there. So what happened was, after that he sent me that email, I had a conversation with my client's wife, and she told me that she had talked to Mr. Park about his dismissing one of the cases because she even knew that same thing. Well, she told me that during this conversation, he told her, and she filled in an affidavit to this effect, that since Tim Baldwin is your husband's attorney, he will not get any favorable treatment for me whatsoever. And in fact, I'm going to make sure that he doesn't get favorable treatment because Tim Baldwin is his attorney. And she filled out an affidavit to that effect. Well, my client's wife became she became afraid, actually, from the intimidations that she received from this prosecutor. She felt so concerned and so worried that Mr. Park and the county attorney's office would be going after her husband that she was pleading with her husband to fire me as his attorney. In fact, that phone call was recorded by the county jail. I received a copy of that later, and you can hear her desperation telling her husband, you don't want Tim Baldwin because they're going to come after you. You're going to be treated badly, and I can't afford to lose you for the rest of my life.
Now, for those that don't know, clearly, depending on the state law, it's illegal to say, get another lawyer and we'll go easier on you, because then they can only say, go get our buddy who's a lawyer and control the market of lawyers. I mean, this violates so many things, as you guys are saying in the newspaper. Why do you think this is illegal? Because, of course, more of that happened.
Well, first of all, there was a case, actually, that one of my law associates helped file a suit about, where the judges were controlling which attorneys could get work in the county for the public defender's office.
Sure.
And my partner, Phyllis Quatman, and her husband, Jack Quatman, filed a suit. The ACLU got involved, and what ended up happening was the system was completely changed because the judges cannot control who the attorneys are, and the judges cannot control which clients hire which attorneys, and not to mention the fact that, of course, that every person has a right to counsel. The attorney-client privilege is one of the most sacred institutions and protections we have in this country, based on the most fundamental idea of fairness and due process.
Sure.
The judicial system.
And I mean, now we've got the parallel construction, NSA spying. Everybody knows the courts are getting more and more rigged, and here is an inside example of that. Please continue.
So what happened then after she became so concerned about this, but her husband was insistent, no, I'm going to keep Tim Baldwin as my attorney. I like him. He's working hard for me. I trust him. I am not going to kowtow to Mr. Park's intimidations and his threats against me. So that's what happened. So as a result of this scenario, my client's wife decided that to protect herself from these threats that she received, she was going to record a conversation, or the next conversation she had, with these state officials. And in fact, that's what happened. She had talked to McKeek Johns, who is an agent for the Northwest Drug Task Force team, who happened to be her handler because she was a confidential informant for the Drug Task Force. She talked to him on June 4th. And during that conversation, and that's the recording that you have, and that's what's been released to the public now. But during that 27-minute conversation, you hear this officer do the exact same thing that Mr. Park had done to my client's wife, except it was recorded, so we know exactly what he said, and we see the correlation between what the county attorney's office had said to my client's wife and what the personal experiences that I had already been encountering with the county attorney's office. All of that tied together to what this agent was telling my client's wife, where he makes repeated threats about if she doesn't fire Tim Baldwin, if Corey Franklin doesn't fire Tim Baldwin, it's going to be bad news for Corey Franklin, that you know,
This is manipulating the judicial process, trying to manipulate a trial. From my